So today we read chapter 10 and only the first part. So this is about 50 minutes. So we just put a break around like half an hour or something exactly. So okay, here we go. So this is Nitya Dharma and the history. History here, what it really implies is the history of Vaishnavism. So that's the main thing that that it is actually dealing with. Now the question, we'll start from the question rather than all the all the beginnings which are not actually important for us. Is Vaishnava Dharma eternal or is it modern? That is what is really taking this subject deeper into more description. Now, Vaishnava Dharma, as we have read, is eternal and most ancient. Okay, how can we really prove that? Because this Vaishnava Dharma is attached to the jivas. So this is Jaiva Dharma. So as soon as that we talk about the beginning of jiva, that means Vaishnava Dharma is actually coming into picture right there. Okay, so that means from the very beginning, at least from the beginning of creation, definitely this Jaiva Dharma or Vaishnava Dharma was there, isn't it? So now again, as I say, beginning of creation means what? This creation is going on all the time. All the time. There is no, because jivas who have no beginning and there is no ending. So in between, then all these, universe, all the Brahmandas are actually getting created and then again destroyed, created, destroyed, like that it goes on. And then so during this time, jivas actually come and then go back to Narayana, the belly of Narayana. Like there it actually takes rest and then again actually manifested, in the next creation and then keep on going. This is what is actually happening. So even if we take the creation, for example, when the jivas actually come into the universe, we are talking about Garbhodakasai Vishnu, from whose navel Lord Brahma comes, and then from whose forehead Lord Shiva appears. Then he expands into 11 Rudras. So that means right from here we are talking about Vaishnavas. So who is the first Vaishnava? Brahma, Lord Brahma is the first Vaishnava, and along with Shiva, because Shiva also came along with. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam we say Vaishnavanam Yada Sambhuhu, right? So the same way actually Brahma, Shiva and Narada, they are all basically the very first Vaishnavas from the beginning of the creation if you take. But again, as I said, creation is not the beginning. It is always happening and again, going through destruction and back and forth and back and forth. So, if you really extend that way, the Jaiva Dharma or the Vaishnava Dharma is eternal. Right? Now, here comes the Mayavadi's perception of Vaishnavism. Okay? So, there are two types. One type is actually based on Mayavadism. That is Panja Upasana. Panja Upasana means 5 gods. Because as per their dharma, that Mayavada, what happens is actually God has no form, God has no qualities, and all the deities are whatever that you really worship, they are imaginary. And in the beginning, before we really get into Brahman realization, you need some help. So that is why you really imagine that deities as a god as you want. You can actually take a pig and then worship as God, or you can actually take a mosquito and then worship as God. So this is their philosophy. And as soon as that Brahman realization is done, you just throw away everything. Including all what? Not only the deities, even Guru also. Anybody who really helped also, you just throw everything, everybody out. Even they say Maya from Maya. Maya is the one which makes even Bhagavan and Jivas and all the Prakriti, they all come from Maya. So for the Maya is more superior than Bhagavan. Okay? And there is no seva, no service between Jiva and God. Okay, so I am talking about Mayavada philosophy. Okay, and the Prema Bhakti, Prema is just imaginary. That does not exist at all. Okay, so they also say, yes, we also worship Vishnu. How? Sun God. Sun God is the Dharma. Then Ganesh is what? Dharma, Artha. And then Durga Devi, Kama. And then Moksha, that is Lord Shiva, who actually tells utters the mantra, Ramanama, to really give any moksha. So basically, this Vishnu, even though they are saying Vishnu, this Vaishnava Dharma, which as we understand, is not the Vaishnava Dharma that we are talking about. The real Vaishnava Dharma is different. This is Suddha, pure Vaishnava Dharma. Bhagavan has spiritual form. Deities are not imaginary. They are spiritual form. Sakshat Bhagavan. Because of the when you really invoke with the mantra, he comes there. Spiritually, he just manifests right there. And Jivas is naturally bound by love and devotion to the Lord. And the Lord has the same way. He has love and affection to the Jivas as well. So basically, their Mayavadism is the driest subject. Not only the subject that we really covered today is the dry because of the Mayavadism. Mayavadism as such is really the driest and really horrible. So there they say, Lord doesn't have any love with, Jivas, you are different. They're all just temporarily, there is a small manifestation of Brahman, and then after that everything is going to go back to South Indian Sambar. This is not the case. So a Suddha Vaishnavas, Lord has love to the Jivas, and Jivas have a love to the Lord. And Jiva engages in seva to Bhagavan. So as Nitya Dharma, Jiva is servant of God. Krishnera Nitya Dasa. So Prema is the only real goal. Why do we really chant Mahamantra? Because to revive our Nitya Dharma, which is actually the inherent love, the unconditional love and service to the Lord. That is what that we are attaining for. That is Prema. Okay? So it is completely, totally different. And people, if you see that, they are not interested to really discuss about all these things, or they are really totally ignorant. Most of the time, 99% of the people are too ignorant. They take whoever says something, somebody gives a very nice talk. Oh, yeah, he must be really great. Whatever he says, okay, there you go. They don't have any brain at all. So here we are talking about two different things, completely opposite. Completely opposite. So now if you see that they have two different moods. How they are actually two different moods? These Panja Upasana, or rather or Mayavadism, based worship of the 5 deities, 5 plus whatever you can actually manufacture. As per they say, you can manufacture anything. They say Rama is not real, Krishna is not real, nothing is real. You are God, I am God. That is their horrible philosophy. These are called cheating religions. Why they are called cheating religions? What is their mood behind? Why they are worshipping all these things? For getting what? In Brahman realization are called Mukti. It's called Sayujya Mukti. Merging in the Brahman. This is the problem. They really want to see that is what they ask for something. They have a goal of asking something for them, for a favor for them. Okay, so that is why in Chaitanya, in Srimad Bhagavatam, this is actually first chapter in the second text. It is coming so nicely. Dharma projito kaitavo atra paramo Nirmatsaranam satam Vetyam vastavam atra shivadam Tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va parairishvaraha Satyo hridi avarutyate atra kritibihi shushupishtat takshanat. This is wonderful. What is it really saying? It is saying, what is the real religion? That is the Vaishnava Dharma. What is it? It propounds the highest and purest dharma called Vaishnava Dharma. Mahamuni Krite Srimad Bhagavate. Who wrote that? It was written by Veda Vyasa. Mahamuni Ishvara Satyo Kriti brings Krishna into heart. By reading Srimad Bhagavatam, that brings Krishna into the heart, not Paramatma. Paramatma is replaced. Paramatma is the only reflection. What's that? When Tatshana, immediately, to whom? Nirmat Saranam Satam, the pure devotees who have no enmity, no asking, no cheating, nothing. Just if they want to serve, they want to give themselves, their soul, everything at the lotus feet of Krishna. For those kind of pure devotees, Krishna comes in the heart. So all the cheaters, these kind of, all the Mayavadis, followers of Shankaracharya and all those, they are actually cheaters. They are called cheating religions. So, now, you can compare both sides. Now look at the other side. Other side is the real religion, which is Vaishnava Dharma. Pure Vaishnava Dharma is giving to God. Unconditional. If you see that, again, almost all the population, why are they worshipping the God? Why are they going to the temple? They are going to the temple for some favor. This is not Vaishnava Dharma, what we are talking about. That's not the Sanatan Dharma or Jaiva Dharma, whatever we are talking about. Hindus really say, yes, we are the Sanatan Dharma. Wrong, completely wrong. Hindus go to the temple only to worship so that they want to get something in favor. Hinduism is not a Sanatan Dharma. They are calling. In fact, Hinduism, every religion is calling. They are the Sanatan Dharma. But they are a cheating religion. That's what the Srimad Bhagavatam is saying clearly. They are all cheating religions. What does that mean? This is projita, completely rejected. These are throw it out. Kaitava, covered by fruitive intention. That means you are asking for something. Kaitava dharmo, projita, to throw that out. Srimad Bhagavatam throws everything out. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, only Srimad Bhagavatam is our only pramana. Only Purana that we ever need is Srimad Bhagavatam, because that is a Sutta Sattvic Purana. You understand that now? There are two moods. One is asking. They are not Sanatana Dharma. They are not Nitya Dharma. They are not Jiva Dharma, including Hinduism, I am saying. Where the other one, that Vaishnava Dharma which we are talking about, which is actually described by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all the way through 6 Goswamis and all the Parampara system, they are the real religion, real Vaishnava Dharma. Why Shankaracharya actually taught Mayavadism? Shankaracharya is known other than Lord Shiva. This is a very important thing that you should know. This is very, very secret. In fact, secret of all the secrets. Mayavadis, of course, don't know this even, or don't even accept the fact. This was told by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to us. Why did Lord Shiva play this role of teaching Mayavadism? Very simple. To take away the non-devotees and asuric people away from Krishna and his abode. Just imagine, all the demons also went to the same place in Goloka Vrindavan. Isn't it a calamity there? Their mood is different. Their mood is not giving mood. Their mood is not prema. Prema is for them is what? That is actually imaginary. That is a joke for them. It will be a big calamity. So Krishna told Lord Shiva, oh Lord Shiva, you are the first Vaishnava. I am giving you a very important job for you to do. You have to get all the demonic people out of me. You go and teach them Mayavadam. Asat Satram, Mayavadam, Asat Satram. It is actually Asat means what? Impure, dirty Sastra. How? What is that? You can worship anything you want. You are God. See, Sivoham, Agam Brahmasmi, So, so many things that you would do. Do one thing, you really misinterpret the scriptures and fool the demons. And they will, because their mood is different, they will immediately be caught by your teaching and they will be down out. And where will they go? I will put them in a place where my devotees will never go. That is called Brahma Jyoti. That is Brahman. My just a radiance is there to dump them there. That is what happened. There are a lot of things that the Lord has planned. We cannot really blame Lord Shankaracharya, Sripad Shankaracharya for that. Lord Shiva only acted just because of the order was given by Lord Krishna. And in fact, right from Satya Yuga, Prahlad Maharaj, that time itself, remember, like they were talking about those two teachers, Amarka, or there are two, Sandar, something, there are two. See, they were actually Mayavadis. And under Hiranyakashipu, he said, I am also God. You are God, everybody is God, I am God, worship me. Don't worship Vishnu. They were against Vaishnavism. That was what their teaching was. But then, because Prahlad Maharaj was actually instructed right when he was in the womb, he knew the truth. So he chanted Harinam. Right? He chanted Harinam because Narada Muni instructed him very well, nicely. And he made a big difference, and so many things happened. Then because of that, Lord Narasimha actually came and wonderful pastimes happened there. Now also if you see, you will see some place where it is coming, where he was asking, Nyayaratna was asking, do you have evidence in Vedas? Does the Veda, for them Veda, they think Veda is everything. Okay, now, this is clearly said that in the Brahma Samhita, that Krishna cannot be understood by Vedas. Now, because this is coming from Brahma Samhita, and our children can actually make a wonderful explanation of that, I would like to really call Manaswini.
The question we must keep in mind from this sloka is, who really understands Krishna? Is it the ones who study all the scriptures and Vedas? Or is it the pure bhaktas of Krishna who give nothing less than the highest form of bhakti and pure love? Let us see. The significant line in the sloka is Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto. This line can answer the question to who really understands Krishna. Vedeshu durlabha. If you study the Vedas, it will be difficult to understand Krishna. You have to go beyond the Vedas. Krishna can be understood by pure, unalloyed devotees, but not by simple study of the Vedas. Krishna can be delivered by his pure devotees, Atma Bhakto. Not just anybody can understand Krishna. Even the demigods, Indra and Brahma, were not able to identify Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is beyond the reach of the Vedas. The Vedas cannot present us a direct view of Krishna and Goloka. There is only one who can understand Krishna, and that is his bhaktas, or pure devotees. The devotees who practice the highest form of bhakti and give only pure love for Krishna. That is why it's rare to find people who actually understand Krishna. Because in order to find someone who understands Krishna, you must first find someone who is his true devotee. And finding a pure Krishna devotee in this world is very hard, yet possible. We are all so blessed to have Masterji as our guru, molding us to become true devotees of Krishna. Thank you, and Hare Krishna.
Okay, now, but even then, even though he is beyond the Vedas, Krishna is hindered in the Vedas as supreme. Apasyam gopa manipatyamanam acha paracha pati bicharandam ससत्रीचिः सभी विशुचिर्वसान आवरीवर्ति भुवनेश्वन्दः. This is Rig Veda, but actually the tune they sing in a different way. This is from the Rig Veda. He says, I saw Gopala, Gopa. He never falls from his position. Sometimes he is near, sometimes he is far, wandering all various paths. He is a friend decorated with variety of cloths. He comes again and again in the material world. The Narayana Upanishad is actually talking about Brahmano Devaki Putro. The son of Devaki is Sri Krishna. He is the supreme Brahman. Brahman, supreme means what? Above Brahman, Para Brahman. The name Krishna is mentioned in the Rig Veda. Other verses also, that I don't have time for all those. Then also Chandyoga Upanishad is Krishna Devaki Putra. Again, same thing again actually coming there as well. Narayana Upanishad and also Chandyoga Upanishad. Rig Veda again another verse coming, Vishnu or Gopa, means Vishnu is Gopala, Sri Krishna. Then again Chandogya Upanishad, again it comes there, Shyamam, the word Shyamam, he is the Almighty. Who is Shyam? Shyam is our Krishna. In Taittiriya Upanishad it is said, Raso Vaisaha. This is very, very important one. It says that he is Rasika Sekara. That is why we worship as Radha Krishna. Why? Because he is Raso Vaisaha. But all these Mayavadis, idiots actually, they don't really know the truth. They are getting cheated. They are cheating themselves. They are also cheating others as well. And even another place also, the Chandogya Upanishad, it says, Shyama Chabalam Prapatye, Sabala Shyamam Prapatye. Actually, we just read that one. What is saying? By worshipping the blackish complexion Parabrahman, one attains Sri Hari's abode. And Krishna is mentioned in many Upanishads as supreme. Om Namah Sachidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Klistakarine Namo Vedanta Vetyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine. Gopala Tapani Upanishad. What is it saying? Oh Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna. See, look at it. Krishnaya Klistakarine, whose form is eternal and full of knowledge and bliss, who is the rescuer from distress. That's what Klistakarine. Klistakarine. Right? And Namo Vedanta Vedaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine. Then here he says, who is a supreme spiritual master also, and who is a witness in everyone's heart. Then again Rig Veda once more. See, I was going more than what you really read in the Jaiva Dharma. Look at here. Then there is another one. Tavam Vastuni Usmasi Gamatyai Yatra Gavo Guri Sringayashaham Atraha Tat Urugayasya Krishna Paramam Padam Avabhati Puri. We wish to go to your abode. Who is that? Radha Krishna's abode. Beautiful houses, wonderful places there, about which cows with large and excellent horns are wandering here and there. Yet distinctly shining on this earth is that supreme abode of yours, because you have here also Vrindavan. Yours, that showers joy for all of them. O Urugaya, that Krishna, who is much praised. This is there. See, you have, even though, as Manishwari has actually explained, because it's beyond, he's not in the Vedas, he's beyond Vedas. But even then Vedas have something here and there. Okay, now let us go further, because now time is running. If you see the Vaishnava Dharma, there are actually 4 stages. You see, very first one is Bhagavad Jnana. Then, that's like a bird. Okay, this is how we really read at the ending. Then Maya Vijnana, then Sadhana Bhakti, and then Prema Bhakti. Bhagavad Jnana means what? This is about the Bhagavan Sri Krishna, about him. Okay, this is what the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is Chatur Sloki. There are 4 slokas which really correspond to these 4 stages. Sadhana Bhakti means what? What exactly is the goal? For sadhana, you do your sadhana to attain something. What is that attaining? Is the prema. That is the is the what? Love of God. So, okay, so first one is Bhagavad Jnana, the knowledge about Supreme God, then Maya Vijnana, about Maya, so he is also one of the Sakti of Bhagavan, and Sadhana Bhakti, that means he is actually talking about the endeavors that we have to do in order to reach Krishna. Basically, when you really do the sadhana right, and then by the mercy of Guru, you will get prema, and then you will go back to Krishna. If you see that Prahlad Maharaj, that time when he was there, it was as a bird. It was just a bird. It's not opened yet. Okay? So then when Veda Vyasa came, that was the time we really understood all the Maya Tattva, Maya Vijnana, all the scriptures, everything, they're all revealed everything. Then when Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, and also Vishnu Swami from West India, all those, when they came, then the sadhana bhakti became actually, it really blossomed. Because they were the one who were actually teaching us more of sadhana, how to do the sadhana. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came at the very end, that is the time it is completely blossomed, blossomed flower. Where now all the bees and everybody was, because of the fragrance that it was emanating out. Okay, that is what is right now. This is the stage. If you see that in Satya Yuga, they were not talking like this. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the wisdom like this. No, it was not there at all. Very little. Narada Muni gave little bit for Prahlad Maharaj. And then Veda Vyasa gave Sastras and everything. And then the Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, and all the things I said, they really took it to the next level. But that's not the ultimate. No, that's only in between. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one who finally gave the complete prema. Nobody else can actually give. That is why he came. So Bhagavad Jnana. So this is sloka. I am not really going to read the sloka right now because we are running out of time. So Bhagavad Jnana, this is the one that out of the Chatur Sloki. So Chatur means 4. Out of the 4 slokas, this is the first one which is talking about the Bhagavad Jnana. Who is Bhagavan? Aham eva, sam eva, agrena. So it will goes like that. Meaning is Brahma. It is I. So he is talking to Lord Brahma. It is I. The personality of Godhead who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was where the material nature the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be me. So basically, I am everything. In the beginning I was there, and at the end also I will be the only one. Then the next one is Maya Vijnana. That is the second sloka. So this is the one really talks about what is Maya, what is illusory energy. As I mentioned that it is kind of a reflection which appears to be in darkness. Okay, that's why Yoga Maya, Mahamaya, I was talking about. So this is Maya Vijnana, Maya Tattva. And then I have a question. Can Maya and Bhagavan in heart at the same time? See, okay, this is very, very, very tricky one. You have Maya and you have Krishna, Bhagavan. Is it any time possible that Bhagavan and Maya both exist at the same time? The answer is not. How can that be? A light exists and the darkness is also there? It's not possible. As soon as a light comes, darkness goes away. In science, the way darkness is defined is lack of light. There is no entity, there is no substance called darkness. You cannot take a bucket and then, there's a dark room and you really go and then empty it, try to take the darkness out of it. I am taking the darkness out of it, and you just take it out and bucket by bucket. It's not possible because it's not an entity. So it is defined in science is darkness is lack of light. The same way, when Bhagavan comes in our heart, Maya automatically out. It dispels out. But she becomes another dimension. She becomes Yoga Maya. She will be assisting. She will be the mother. There, in the spiritual sky, will be assisting the jivas to work on all the leelas and pastimes and spiritual activities. See, Mahamaya, who is actually what Durga, is actually engaging you to really engage in the material activities and then get into trouble. But whereas there, she is also going to help the jiva, but to really achieve so much of happiness there. So then the third one is sadhana bhakti. So this is when, here Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, and also the four Kumaras, they all came and then they were actually teaching how to do sadhana. Sadhana means what? Spiritual endeavors to achieve the goal of Krishna. Okay, so that is about sadhana bhakti. And the last one is, the final goal is prema. So what this particular sloka is started, yetavad yeva jinnasyam tattva. It's like that it goes on. The meaning is, a person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead must certainly search for it up to this. What is this? That is prema. In all circumstances, that is the ultimate of everything. So now, we are at the fourth stages of Vaishnava Dharma, as far as whatever the Lord could really give to us. And now the lotus flower has really blossomed. And we can see the fragrance everywhere. You can see that. Then, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, every town and country my name will be sung. He said that time. Look at here, everywhere in the world. And so many, all Krishna, Radha Krishna temple are getting manifested there. Left and right. So we started with Bhagavad Jnana, that was a bird. Then Maya Vijnana, that is the second stage, all the Vyasa, everybody came. Then Sadhana Bhakti, all the Ramanuja, Madhvacharya came. But again, that was not prema. They cannot give prema. Prema is different. They can give only Vaiti Bhakti. This is Raga Bhakti. Raga Bhakti is only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can give. Okay, that is prema. So this is the lotus flower example. And with this amazing blessing, we are